Hey guys, happy longest day of the year. Wow, I look horrible. Well, there's a reason for the way I look. Oh my god. Sorry. Right? I'm sorry. Okay, so today is the longest day of the year. Rosemary brought that to my attention and I started thinking, yeah, it has to be the longest day of the year because, oh my god, I automatically wake up when the sun wakes me up, but because I didn't get home yesterday until 2 o'clock in the morning, coming from TJ, I was, I'm hungry. I guess my body needed some rest and I didn't wake up until about 7 o'clock. Which is terrible, right? I should be sleeping in more. The only time I get to sleep in is when I take some pills to sleep, and Benadryl and hydroxyzine are not really working, so it has to be a little stronger. But I have to pay attention because I'm worse than my dogs are, and my neighbors know that already. So usually when the cops come and they see you, they put a flashlight and they're like, "Excuse me, what are you doing?" And I'm more like, I come outside with my flashlight, mag light, because it's a good light, and I come out and I point the flashlight at them and I'm like, it's either me or the cops. Get out of here. It's 2:30 in the morning. My dogs are barking. Whatever. Anyways, it's the longest day of the year, and I noticed that in Oregon, when I was out there, it was like 9 o'clock, you guys, and it was still light like it is right now. Look at how bright I look. So I started thinking, what can I say? My patient's doing better, but my Rosemary is a little sick. So Rosemary is on a new medication that they gave her, and there's only so much I can do besides take her to the hospital, right? And of course, when we take our patients to the hospital, the Medi-Cal only pays either the recipient, the Medi-Cal will only pay the provider or the hospital. But sometimes we got to do what we have to do. So I told her, I explained to her, because of my knowledge of medicine and how it works. She threw up, and ginger ale is really good for the tummy, but she also wants to get rid of that medicine that she has inside her stomach. So I said, I can sit here with you and watch you throw up, and which I did for a little while. And she didn't have ginger ale, so I ended up going to John's apartment, which is upstairs on the second floor. And I came in and I said, God, I need some ginger ale. I need a Gatorade for the front guard, because he has food poisoning and he's working and he shouldn't be working. On top of that, I think I got a short circuit on my van, which is cool because 2 of my cars are already in the shop, and that's all right. I'll take my van into the shop and the mechanic's gonna be like, really, Sandra, now 3 cars? Hey, get on it, clean them, work them, fix them. No problem paying for your job, so I trust them. And on top of that, I'm supposed to be leaving, so I have to cover shifts. So it's been a long day. It's been a good productive long day, actually. I'm going to try to mow my lawn since it's the longest day of the year. But in Oregon, it doesn't get dark until about 9 o'clock, and that's crazy, right? So what I wanted to talk to you guys was supplemental timesheets. What is a supplemental timesheet? Supplemental... Hold on. I need to check something. Because if my cars are marked again... Ooh, maybe I'll have a corn. A supplemental timesheet is a timesheet where they basically supplement hours that are owed to you. Now that's good when you have a supplemental timesheet, because that means it's more money, but it's also not good. It's not good because I need to check my cars, because it looks like I want to see, because if they called for my cars again, which doesn't matter because I'll end up moving them. No, it looks clean. Cool. Now I'm going to give you my example, okay? One of my recipients had an evaluation, which is where I told you guys that's where I found out that evaluations, that electronic timesheets. This was in March when I found out. As soon as I found out, I let you guys know. In March, she was re-evaluated, her yearly evaluation. Go ahead, because I'm going to. Okay, cool. You know I got my parking. Thank you. Hola. I should probably ask him why I have a short. He's a mechanic, my neighbor, and I am gonna yell at somebody right now. I'm gonna tow their car. I hate it when people do this. Maybe it has an alarm, and if it has an alarm, then the owner will come out. This is what I gotta deal with, and I hate people that can't read. Is that your car parked behind my house? Is that your car? Do me a favor, don't park there again, because it takes me like 15 minutes to go there. 15 minutes. And you know what else? I got a short on you right now. What's your name? Siobhan, I'm Sandra. I'm the VIP. Dude, this thing is dying on me. Okay. Thank you so much, Savannah, for coming out. That's cool, girl. Thank you. I don't know how much of that you guys heard, and I'm telling you, I was not nice, okay? I was not nice, because it takes me 15 minutes to tow a vehicle, which is why I've taken over 60. But I think I handled that very well. I got to shorten this thing. Sorry. Okay, cool. So, ding. I'm going to turn you off and see what happens. John had surgery on May 6th. He went to the hospital. No.
You okay, though?
Yeah, I'm cool. I'm cool.
Okay.
Thank you so much, dear.
Right,
You too, sweetie.
okay.
Do me a favor. Hey, here. This is my card.
What is it?
I don't like towing people's cars away. Give it to whoever you're here to see.
Yes, ma'am.
And you keep one.
Yes, ma'am.
If you're parked there, all you gotta do is call me.
Okay.
Call me, because this way I know who it is.
You know who it is.
And,
Okay.
and I've already
You're
told
so
Shirley
sweet.
first.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
No, welcome to
Thank you so
So
much.
keep
You
one
smell
and give
good.
it- Always. I look like crap, but
Good night, love.
You too, sweetie. See how powerful God is? So, that's like super amazing, you guys. So Jeannie got evaluated in March, and the social worker decided to take 25 hours away from her, right? And I said, okay. I was at the max of 264 hours. When she took 25 hours away from her, let's see, 24 would give me 240. I ended up having 239 hours. That effective May 1st, okay? And this is real important. So, 25 hours are taken away effective May 1st. John got put in the hospital, had his surgery on May 6th, and came out of the hospital on May 8th. Every time I told you guys that a patient's condition changes, we have to call the social worker and we have to tell them, you know what, my patient's condition changed. I need him to be reassessed. Because before a patient goes into the hospital and after a patient goes into the hospital, they always need the most care. So I started advocating, and I started asking. I started filling out paperwork, doctor evaluation letters, and every single doctor, and Finally, I ended up having it's an SOC 839, which is an authorized representative form. And that gave me it gives me the authority to speak to the social worker about John's case. So I did John's case, and I also did Rosemary's case, and I also have to haven't done it, for my Jeannie, okay? All right, I want you guys to follow this pattern. Hours for my Jeannie have gotten cut by 25, so that brings me down to 239. That's 25 hours extra of overtime, which is actually about $500, okay? So I'm going through a loss of income, which you can appeal. But in my case, I haven't been able to, because I was more focused on John. And that's part of the thing, that when you have separate, it's good to have different recipients, because you don't solely depend on one's income. So I have 4 different checks that come in. I don't make more than 264 hours a month, okay? So my Jeannie's hours got cut by 25, effective May 1st. John went into the hospital May 6th, came out May 8th. I started filling out doctor evaluation letters. I started advocating more and telling them that he needed more hours. Finally, we got a approval of that same day, the 9th, that I was able to talk to the social worker. After I left the message, she called the next day. John finally got approved the first week of June, an extra 14 hours. 14 hours is good, but it's not good enough. Based on the condition that he has, where I literally have to be there in the morning to get him up. I have to feed him. He has to sit on the couch, chair, whatever, his desk. Once he's done, in order for him to get up, I have to assist. I have to walk with him. I have to give him a shower. And I mentioned to the social worker today, because the supervisor of the supervisor of the supervisor was the one that called me today, because I finally left her a message. Really nice lady. And I said to her, it took me over an hour and 45 minutes to get him in the shower the other day. She said, well, we don't pay, an hour a day for a shower. I said, well, that's what it's taking. And if I wasn't there to catch him in the tub with him, I was fully clothed. And actually, he was clothed too, because I kind of dressed him, because I want to provide that privacy. I dried him in the shower, and then I put on a shirt and his boxers, and then his shorts. And so he was fully dressed, and I saw him going down, so I ended up catching him on my lap. I told her this. I said he would have fallen on the ground, and this is the point where I get really angry, upset, and I say, you know what? I started crying, and this is why I need the social worker to see what it is that we're going through, okay? So he still has not gotten the notice of action. I was being proactive and calling constantly to see if the hours had been increased. Once I found out that the hours were increased to 14 hours, I felt like that was a slap in the face because of all the work I've done, okay? And I didn't think it was right. I didn't think it was right at all. So I continued to call and call and call and call. And I want someone to return my phone call. And every time you call the 888 number, 822-9622, which is the provider clerk's phone number that takes care of the providers, they are able to send messages. Now, depending on whoever answers the phone and how nice they feel that day, but generally they're supposed to be nice to them. They know they work hard. They're able to relay messages over, but they are also if I call on Monday, I should receive a phone call by Friday, which is 5 days. At the latest, the next Monday, which is 7 days, because it doesn't include weekends. Okay. So I love the social workers that are taking care of John's case, and I also love the social worker that's taking care of Rosemary's case, and I just met a new social worker that I spoke with, and I'm gonna go meet her because I like to meet the people that I talk to. But I'm still losing an income of 25 hours that I am not going to even bother fighting for. But we got an increase of 14 hours, which still leaves me at a loss of 10, 11 hours. But the loss of the income and the loss of the hours does play a role in what I receive. But the most important thing is the fact that they need the hours. The hours are required. They cannot function if they do not get these hours. And ultimately, of course, I have been providing. I lost track of how many hours I have been providing, but I've been providing hours, and I feel that it's unfair for me that I've been working like crazy and I'm not compensated for it, which a big part of my compensation is seeing them get better. Okay. But realistically, I have to pay bills. I have to fix my van. I have to fix my cars. I have to. So another problem also is I share hours. So there's another provider that I share hours with. So when I found out that the hours, the 14 hours were increased, besides it not being fair, because of the proof that I've provided with the doctor evaluation letters from many doctors, okay, those hours have to be shared. The hours are now changed. And we have to designate hours to each provider. One being my son and one being myself. Whichever way they get designated, it's not a problem. There's a form called the Shared Authorized Hours. It's Form S as in Sam, O as in Oscar, and C as in Charlie. You can find this on the CDSS website. The number is 838. It's called Shared Authorized Hours. That was one problem. Problem number one, not enough hours, despite all the paperwork that was turned in, and I'm good with paperwork. 2, the form SOC 838 has to be assigned. And 3, when I found out the increase of hours, the effective date was June 1st. No. So I continued to call over and over again, and I made sure that those hours were to be retroactive from the 1st of May. Okay? And I've been nice, and I've been patient, and I've been waiting because, like I said, I love my social workers and my provider clerks. They're knowledgeable, and they help me, and that's what they're there for, supervisors and everything. But today, this morning, I said, you know what, I can't do this. On top of that, I also picked up another client on June 1st that needed my help. So now I have 4 clients again, and I am at the max as of June of the 264 hours. So I'm only losing 10 hours in May. This client that I also picked up in June 1st is also going to have shared authorized hours, a form of the shared authorized hours with me. And I'm pretty sure you guys can guess who this client is. My son. That's who the client is. For several reasons. One of them is because I want to teach him of what life really is like when he gets older and they get to appreciate it. He gets to have experience as a home care provider. He learns We learn a lot. We do a lot. We may be at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to home health care aid or whatever, but the honest reality is we are nurses, we are maids, we are transportation, we are sometimes even for nails. They did a, I'm not really happy with my nails, you know, but my nails were supposed to have a sugar effect on them, okay? A sugar effect means they were supposed to be powdery. And I had them done yesterday when I went to TJ. But if you notice, there's like a gloss on my nail. And the reason there's a gloss on my nail and they look blotchy, okay? Because that was the powder, the sugary effect, was because when the girl was doing my nails, I looked at my nails and I said, I wash my hands constantly. And this glitter, because it's glitter, is going to end up falling into the food. So I made a bad choice of nails. And I said to the young lady, you know what, just put a gel coat on it and cover up all that powder, because the last thing I want to do is put glitter in my, I know I like the bling bling, you know, but I don't want to put glitter on my patient's food or it's going to fall off. So I made a bad choice in nails. Next time I go, I'm going to get some 3D work, which is like flowers and stuff. And the lady saw that it was a bad job, but not that, I don't know, my choice. And I don't blame anybody but myself. So finally I called the supervisor and she returned my phone call today. And I was like, oh my goodness, I don't think I've ever talked to you. And, you know, it's nice to meet you. I want to go down there. I need to meet a few of you guys. And I told her what I did. And I started with an internship at the union. And I try to help hundreds and hundreds of people with my videos. I'm working on a travel board to teach you guys how to do transportation. And there's a video that I'm trying to work on for provider enrollment. So please help me with this case, because it is already almost the end of June, and there's a lot of things that are playing, okay? And I am extremely exact when it comes to paperwork, okay? I like to cross my T's and dot my I's. I never risk it. I always look for the better of things. And then, excuse me, my band decided to just die. But whatever. So, why am I telling you guys all of this? The reason I'm telling you guys all of this is because a supplemental timesheet, I am going to have to order one. I'm sorry. When I finished speaking with the supervisor, she said on Monday, I'm going to send a message to the supervisor, her lower supervisor, and I'm going to send a message to the social worker, her lower, which is lower, and I'm going to have them call you, and we're going to do a reassessment. I said, okay, beautiful, because the first step is to have him reassessed. The reassessment, after I get off the phone, I'm going to tell her, I give him a shower, I rub his skin, I give him lunch, breakfast, dinner, I help him walk. I have to physically sometimes even carry him. I'm pretty strong, which he's kind of shocked. I have to give him medication. I have to tie his shoelaces. I have to take him to the doctor in a wheelchair. I have to get him out of the car. I have to do his shopping. I have to do his medication. I have to do other errands that require, like Walmart. I have to, and at this point, I will have the notice of action with me where I have pinpointed areas where there can be an increase of hours. Okay? And when I get done telling her everything that I do according to the notice of action and the duties that we're supposed to fulfill, I am also going to tell her that this change has to be effective May 1st. So the first thing to do is have him reevaluated, okay? Once he gets reevaluated, the notice of action goes out and the hours will be a lot more appropriate. At that point, when we get the notice of action that states how many hours have been increased, which it's not going to be the 14, okay? Then I have to make a choice. Because I will have to decide whether it's enough or I want to appeal it. And behind the notice of action, it says you have 90 days to appeal the decision of the social worker, which in turn ends up, you end up going to court, okay? And providing all the proof I provided for them, and then the judge finally decides. Once the court date is set, the judge finally decides, okay, Miss Aon, we're going to grant you blah, blah, blah hours for your client. He's going to receive these hours, and the retroactive as of, which they're going to go back for May, because that's when I started. But this can be a process that can take up to 6 months. Okay? And that is if I feel that the hours are not appropriate for him. The next thing is if I feel the hours are appropriate for him because I have knowledge of it and I'm okay with it, then we have to do the SOC 838, which is the shared authorized hours for my son and I to disperse the hours properly. Okay? Keeping in mind that for May, it will be maxing me out at 264 because I'm still missing the 25 hours that my Genie got deducted. Because I don't even care about the 14-hour increase because it's going to be different. And considering June 1st, which is when I began working for the other client. So we need to turn in shared authorized hours forms for 2 clients. One for May for my son and I. And then again in June for my son and I for 1 client. And then for my son and I for John. Okay? Normally, what I do is I give it some time and I communicate with the social worker and tell her, for May, it's going to be this many hours for me and this many hours for my son. Handle that part first. She only has a limitation, which is what happened last time. So she now has to give it to her supervisor. Her supervisor now approves it. For May is this much. But then there's a change in June because I just picked up another client and so did my son, the same client. We're sharing hours. So now my hours are going to change for John. And they're going to change for my new client from June. Okay, great. So a supplemental timesheet is what I will be receiving for the month of May once the evaluation, the reevaluation is done. Reevaluation. I sound like Bob's Burgers. Reopening. I love Bob's Burgers. I haven't seen that in a while. Maybe I'll watch it today. So once the reevaluation has been done, then the shared authorized hours have to be turned in. Once the shared authorized hours are turned in, then I have to ask for a supplemental timesheet. The supplemental timesheet will be the hours they owe me based on the shared authorized hours that I have for each client for May and for June. A supplemental timesheet is the second half of the puzzle. This is what I want you guys to understand, that it is a puzzle. You're putting the timesheet, and this is why you're supposed to have copies of your timesheet. You're putting the timesheet that you already filled out, you already sent in, you already got paid, and you're requesting a supplemental timesheet for hours that they owe you, and you have to combine them, because if you have to combine them to add up to the hours authorized per week. Because if you go over the authorized hours per week, you will get a violation. You will get a violation. So it's two pieces that are being put as one to equal. I got the cigarette. It's two pieces that are being put as one to equal one whole. That is a supplemental timesheet. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me how. And I can't explain it, I suppose. But I see this. I already can see it. I see the numbers. I know how to do it. I know how to work it. And today I was talking to a young lady that I said to her, I had one case that was online. And it was a horrible case. It took me 2 days to piece the puzzles together. And I did my job and I was burned. And the only thing I could see was my son's face constantly asking me, Mommy, Mommy, or Mother, actually. He doesn't call me Mommy. I don't know why. Mother this, Mother that, Mother. Son, I'm working. Son, you want a PlayStation 4? I have to work. And that was the last time I did the video when I told you guys I wasn't going to do any more videos because I was tired of people taking advantage of me. I was tired of it. And I'm glad that I didn't give up, because I didn't give up and I ran into someone today with an amazing, beautiful heart. And I would have never met her if I would have deleted my videos. And a lot of information was shared. And I love my job. I love my job. But a supplemental timesheet is like putting a puzzle together. And I can do that because it's a puzzle with numbers. And I haven't seen, eventually the lady took care of me. And my son got his PlayStation 4 regardless, because that's my job, to provide for my boys. But it is extremely difficult when you get a supplemental timesheet. I have another case of another lady as well. And I'm going to help her next week. And that's what I do. That's what I do. So I wanted to share this supplemental timesheet with you guys because it can benefit you or it can hurt you. And it's up to you. It's up to you to decide if it's worth it. So I don't know anyone else that knows how to do this. So if you guys need help, if you guys need assistance, let me know. ¿El balde está lleno de chelas?
Bueno, fuera que se queden llenos.
Nah.
No, fuimos a poner
Ahorita voy a echar una.
Ahí, una carpa nomás.
Una carpa.
Sí, poner la carpa.
Oh, okay.
Nomás que para no dejar, porque la brocan, las tiran todo y la agarran de hielera.
Okay. So, they're passing with a big old bucket. And I'm like, hey. Because, see, it went dead. Shit is, you guys. My car went dead and I got to put my windows up. So I have to unplug my battery again and then see what's wrong. Take it to the shop tomorrow. But I wanted to share that with you guys. So I hope that helps you guys. I'm sorry it took so long. I'm sorry I look horrible. But it's alright. I'm going to go to bed and I'm going to wait and just see if my Rosemary calls me and tells me how she's doing. So I have to get up in the middle of the night and go take care of her. So I'll do what I have to do. You know what I mean? Okay, thank you. Thank you. God bless you guys. Comment, like, subscribe. Let me turn this fan on and close my windows and go upstairs and drink a beer. I got some Mexican beer. They only let you bring 1 liter, whether it's alcohol or beer. And I like Del Sol. The beer, the Sol, is really good. So for that guy that asked me for a beer, I was like, yeah, no, sorry, no tortillas. Those are for me. Maybe I'll share one. Maybe one. Only one. But that's it. That kind of hurts because that beer came from a long way. God bless you guys. Have a great day. Hey, Jesus drank wine. I'm sorry. God bless you guys and have a good night. Thank you for listening. Bye.